My name is Callista. After my father died, the big house he and Mom had shared felt too empty for her. So I asked her to come live with us. I thought she was lonely. It never once crossed my mind that she had come to take my husband. Our little house used to feel like the safest place on earth. Everett and I had built every part of it together, sanding the floors until our hands blistered, painting the walls a soft sky blue, planting the garden one sweaty weekend after another. It wasn't fancy, but it was ours, and every corner held laughter and music and the smell of coffee in the mornings. We were happy, truly happy. When Dad passed, a piece of me went with him. Mom, Genevieve, stayed alone in that echoing mansion, surrounded by memories and silence. Every time we talked on the phone, I could hear the ache in her voice. "Callista," she'd say, "the quiet here cuts like a knife." My heart hurt for her, so I told her to move in. Everett didn't hesitate. He wrapped his arms around me and said, "Of course, she's your mother. That makes her my family too." I remember feeling so lucky that day. I had the kindest husband in the world. I really believed we could heal her together. The first weeks were beautiful. Mom brought life back into the house. She cooked like she used to when I was little. Chicken soup that tasted like childhood, warm bread, peach cobbler that made the whole kitchen smell like summer. Everett would close his eyes and moan, "Genevieve, this is the best thing I've ever eaten." She would laugh, a real laugh that reached her eyes, and I would watch them and feel proud. Our garden exploded with color. Deep red roses, tall golden sunflowers that turned their faces to the light. Mom had always had magic in her hands when it came to growing things. Everett started standing at the window just to watch her work. One afternoon, he said, almost to himself, "Your mother is something else." I smiled and agreed. I thought it was sweet. I thought we were lucky. I was wrong. It happened so slowly, I almost missed it. The way dusk creeps in, and you don't notice the light is gone until the dark has already swallowed everything. It started with little jokes I wasn't part of. I'd walk into the kitchen and find them laughing over something I hadn't heard. I'd ask what was funny, and Everett would shake his head, still smiling. "Nothing, just something your mom said." Mom would give me a quick smile and change the subject. They had their own secret language, and I was on the outside, looking in. Then the evenings changed. Mom loved walking at twilight. I usually came home tired from work and just wanted to sit. Everett used to sit with me. We'd watch a movie, talk about nothing, hold hands on the couch. But suddenly, he started going with her. "I'll walk with your mom," he'd say, kissing my forehead. "You rest, babe." It sounded so thoughtful. I told myself he was being a good son-in-law. They'd be gone for hours. When they came back, their cheeks were flushed and their eyes bright, like they'd been running or laughing too hard. I'd be waiting on the couch, the house quiet and cold behind me. When they walked in, The air felt warm again, full of their energy, and I felt like a ghost. One night I said, "I'll come too. I need some air." Everett looked surprised. Mom's smile flickered. "Are you sure, sweetheart? You look exhausted." I said I was sure. The walk was awful. No one spoke. The easy teasing that usually floated between them was gone. I walked beside Everett. Mom walked a little ahead. 3 people, 2 separate worlds. There was a wall between us. I couldn't see, but could feel, cold and solid. After that night, I never went again. My birthday came in the middle of summer. Everett always made it special. Pancakes with blueberries, flowers on the table, a little gift wrapped in brown paper. This year, he still did all those things. He gave me a pretty silk scarf. It was nice, but his eyes weren't in it. Later, we had cake, just the 3 of us. Mom had baked it. 3 layers, perfect frosting. After we sang, Everett slid a small box across the table to her. Mom's eyes went wide. "What's this?" "Just a thank you," he said softly, "for being here, for making this house feel bright again." She opened it. Inside was a silver locket, delicate and expensive, way more expensive than my scarf. Mom gasped, "Everett, it's beautiful. You shouldn't have." He smiled at her, a slow, warm smile I hadn't seen him give me in months. "You deserve it, Genevieve." I sat there on my own birthday and watched them look at each other, and something heavy settled in my chest. I tried to smile. My voice came out thin. "It's really pretty, Mom." That night, I asked Everett why he spent so much on her. He got annoyed. "She's your mother, Callista. I wanted to do something nice. Why are you making this a fight?" I didn't have an answer. I just felt cold inside. Then came the nights he wasn't beside me. I'd wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning, and the bed would be empty. I'd pad barefoot through the dark house and see a soft glow under the living room door. I'd hear their voices, low, private, intimate. Sometimes Mom would laugh, a young, flirty laugh I hadn't heard since I was a child. One night, I caught the scent of her perfume on his skin when he slipped back into bed. I lay there in the dark and cried without making a sound. I finally confronted her in the garden. She was watering the roses, looking peaceful. "Mom," I said, my voice shaking, "what's going on between you and Everett?" The calm left her face. She looked hurt, then angry. Tears filled her eyes. "How could you think that? After everything I've lost, your father is gone. I'm alone, and Everett has been kind, like a son. And this is what you accuse me of?" She cried hard, and I felt like the worst daughter in the world. I hugged her and apologized. She held me tight and said, "It's okay, baby. Go to bed." But when I hugged her, I smelt her perfume again, the same one that had been on Everett the night before, and I knew. After that, they were careful. The late night talks stopped, or maybe they got quieter, but the distance between Everett and me grew wider every day. We lived in the same house, slept in the same bed, and felt like strangers. He stopped asking about my day. I stopped telling him. We talked about the weather, about groceries. We never talked about us. Mom took over everything, cooking, decorating, deciding where furniture should go. "It needs a woman's touch," she'd say, smiling at Everett. He smiled back and agreed with everything. I started to disappear. At dinner, I'd sit quietly while they talked about their walks, their plans for the garden, their little private jokes. Sometimes Everett would glance at me and ask, "You okay, Callista?" Mom would answer for me, "She's just tired. She works too hard." And that would be the end of it. I needed proof. I was starting to think I was crazy. One rainy afternoon, they were both out. I went into our bedroom and opened Everett's nightstand drawer for the first time in years. Under socks and old receipts was a small wooden box. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a letter in his handwriting. "My dearest Genevieve." He wrote about her eyes, her laugh, how alive he felt with her. He called me a good person, but still a girl. He said she had shown him what real love felt like. He ended with, "I don't know what to do, but I know I can't live without you." I sat on the floor in the rain sound and read it over and over until the words stopped making sense. Then I folded it, put it in my pocket, and waited. When they came home, I was sitting in the living room. I asked them to sit. They saw my face and knew. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. My voice was very calm. "Everett," I said, "are you in love with my mother?" He couldn't look at me. "Mom," I said, "tell me the truth." She started crying. "It's not what you think. It's complicated." "It's not complicated," I said. I placed the letter on the coffee table between them. I read this. It seems pretty clear. The room went still. The clock on the wall kept ticking, counting the end of everything. Everett finally spoke, barely above a whisper. "I'm so sorry, Callista. I never meant to hurt you." Mom said, "We never meant for this to happen. I was so lonely, and he was so kind." I looked at the two people I loved most in the world and felt ice spread through my chest. "Mom," I said, "I want you to leave tonight." She looked up, shocked. "Where will I go?" "That's not my problem anymore." Then I turned to Everett. "You two, I need you gone." They didn't fight. They packed in silence. Mom tried to hug me at the door. I stepped back. She whispered, "I love you, Callista," and walked out into the dark. Everett stood there a moment longer. "I'll always love you," he said. "Goodbye, Everett," I answered and closed the door. The house was too quiet, the same piercing quiet Mom had once complained about, only now it was mine. The first weeks were hell. I cried until I had nothing left. My chest physically hurt. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I thought I would die from the pain, but I didn't. Slowly, so slowly, the sun came back. I painted the living room a bright, defiant yellow. I ripped out every rose Mom had planted and sowed wildflowers that didn't need anyone's permission to grow. I called my friends. They sat with me, listened to everything, brought food, held my hand, made me laugh when I thought I'd never laugh again. I started painting again, big, messy canvases full of color. I walked alone at twilight and learned to love the quiet. It wasn't lonely anymore. It was peaceful. One day, Everett called. We met for coffee. He looked older, smaller. He told me it was over between them, that it had been a terrible mistake born out of grief and weakness. He begged for another chance. I looked at him and felt sad for the man he used to be, but I also felt strong for the woman I had become. "I forgive you," I said, "but I can't go back. That Callista is gone, and so are we." Mom wrote me a long letter full of apologies. I haven't answered it yet. Maybe one day, maybe not. My life is different now. It's quieter, simpler, but it's mine. I am stronger than I ever knew I could be. The pain didn't kill me. It carved me into someone new. Sometimes I still miss the family I thought I had. Then I walk into my yellow room, look out at my wild garden dancing in the wind, and I feel peace settle over me like warm sunlight. I'm okay. I'm going to be more than okay. The sun rises again. It always does. And one day it will rise for you too. Just keep going. One breathe, one morning, one wildflower at a time. You are stronger than you know. Thanks for listening to my story. If you liked it, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, and tell me where you're listening from.